Welcome to the Leaderonomics Show. Today, here in Malaysia, first time ever, we have all the way from Gotham City, Batman is in the house. Batman, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here, although I must say these studio lights, they're not really working for me.
You don't do well with lights,
No,
huh?
I tend to kind of stick to the shadows, and so to be under the studio lights, yeah, it's very, it's unusual for me.
Okay,
I'll be honest.
But you know, we have to do the shoot, so
Sure.
you just have to bear with it for a bit.
Sure,
hey, you
sure.
know, your voice seems different. You've got a different
It does. I'm going for something new. You know, the reason why I kind of wear this suit and why I take on a different voice is to protect my identity, the ones of, you know, the people that I love. When I'm fighting crime and doing all my Batman things, I need to, you know, be in a different zone. I need to be in a different place. And so for years, I was using this very deep, gravelly voice. And I don't mind telling you, Roshan, it gave me all sorts of problems. I got really bad throat issues, and I realized that if I want to hide my identity, all I need to do is take on a different accent. So I decided to go with the north of England. Beautiful place.
Wow. And so that's where the accent comes from, huh?
Yes,
All
yeah.
right.
So I decided that, you know, I just didn't want to sound like I was from Gotham and put on, you know, my day-to-day voice to protect my identity, and this is what I went with.
And so what brings you to Malaysia?
All the beautiful beaches.
Beaches?
Beaches, you know, the sand.
Ah,
yeah,
okay,
we don't have a
okay.
lot of beaches in, well, beaches. We don't have a lot of beaches in Gotham City. So
I
yes,
see.
it's very nice to be in a beautiful climate, a beautiful place.
Yeah, Malaysia is beautiful. You know, interesting. You know, I was reading a bit about your background, and you know what you do. I mean, I know you run, you fight crime at night.
Yes.
And you possibly and you do a lot of work in the day, right?
No, I don't do anything during the day.
But-
Absolutely not.
but you run-
No, I don't do anything during the day.
No, but don't you run Wayne Enterprises?
Whoa, what do you mean? Hello,
Right. Commissioner Gordon told me that you, Batman, are Bruce Wayne.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon needs to keep his mouth shut then, doesn't he? Going
Well,
around
anyway-
telling all my secrets.
Anyway.
Do you know how hard I work for this? Do you think this costume was cheap? Do you think taking on a new voice was easy?
But Bruce, I think one of the things
Please,
in our show.
please, Roshan. Batman.
Okay, Batman.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things in our show, you know, is that we help viewers to learn leadership. And I think, you know, if I look back at your life, you know, your other life, where you run Wayne Enterprises, you have a very scarred childhood. I mean, tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, you lost your parents at an early age, but you've overcome all that, and you became a billionaire, and you've done a lot of things, right? Talk us through your childhood. I mean,
Okay, Commissioner Gordon was correct. Yes, I am Bruce Wayne. I'm still going to keep up the voice though, just for the sake of appearances.
yeah, tell us about. I know you
Okay.
lost your parents, right? It was very tragic, right?
It was, of course, yes.
But a lot of people, when they lose their parents, use that as an excuse to give up on life. But it somehow was an impetus for you to make a difference in the world, right? Talk us through that.
It got me to see the darker side of humanity. You know, growing up, I grew up a child of privilege. You know, my parents had a lot of money, my father was very successful. They were very loving. We had a beautiful home out in Wayne Manor, and that was all taken away from me. And I kind of, up till that point, I'd never really
How
experienced
did it
that kind of
happen?
life. We were leaving a theatre one night. We'd just seen a beautiful stage production, and we were walking out of a theatre, and still a little hard to talk about, a man by the name of Joe Chill approached my mother Martha and asked her for her necklace. When she refused, this man shot both my mother and my father.
Just right there. And
Right
you
there
saw
in
this whole thing.
Right there in the street in front of me, and then ran away and left me standing over the bodies when a young policeman by the name of Jim Gordon took me to the station and took me under his arm, and until now we've had a beautiful friendship. When he revealed to you that I was Batman,
So
that
Jim
might-
Gordon is
that-
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes, he is. Yes, he's these days risen to the rank of commissioner and has apparently forgotten how to keep a secret.
Well, people have a hard time keeping secrets with you.
Well, they do. Yeah,
But let's talk
it's
a little bit
problem.
about that secret, right? I mean, how did that experience at childhood translate into you becoming Batman?
There was a lot of processes that went on following the murder of my parents, and I got to see a different side to the Gotham City Police and the Gotham legal system, and you know, the American legal system in general. And I felt that justice was never carried out against this man. And while now I look back on him as a tragic man in a tragic situation, at the time I was just so angry, and I wanted to end all this injustice, the gang warfare, the underworld of Gotham. You know, it really it changed me a lot.
Okay.
And ever since then,
and
I've
you were
been,
4. How old were you when this happened?
I was 7 at
7,
the time.
okay.
Yes, I was only 7 years old.
So
at the time.
from 7, what did you do? I mean, was there a process that you went through to finally find your identity and purpose in life, or it just happened?
Yeah, well, from there, I went to go study a lot in Europe and went to go find myself from the age of 14. I'd started over in Europe.
Oh, so you took some time to reflect and find yourself?
Of course, yeah. So after my parents murdered, I was raised by my butler, essentially, Alfred, who remains a very good friend to this day and my most trusted confidant. And after I'd spent my time, up in the mountains, being trained at the League of Shadows, I decided I was going to come back with a real purpose, a real mission, and I believe that I'm well on the way to accomplishing that.
We're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be right back with Batman here on the Leaderonomics Show. Welcome back to the Leaderonomics Show, and today we have an amazing guest, Batman, in the house. Batman, we are...
Sorry, yeah. During the break, I came across this. This is yours?
Book.
How am I...
It's Kembara Kepimpinan. It's in Bahasa. It's the language spoken here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we don't speak it in Gotham.
Yeah, I know, but you should. It's a pretty good language.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I'll give you a copy of that.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a book? Have you written a book?
I have not written a book. No, between all my crime fighting and evading the police and obviously running a business, I'm a little busy.
Yeah, I can see that. No, and tell me about that. I mean, you run a business, right? I mean, it's a very successful Wayne Enterprises. You inherited it from your parents and you've grown it. You're a billionaire now, Talk us through that. How is it that you can balance doing all that stuff and yet seem, like you're not stressed, everything seems fine, you're always ready to crack a joke. I mean, talk us through that, because a lot of CEOs, even though just running a business, they feel so stressed out just running the business, but you do a whole bunch of things.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I do have my stresses. When there's a new villain on the scene, when there's some injustice that needs to be fought, that's what really stresses me out. When it comes to running the business, I put my faith in my people. I have an excellent R&D department. I have Lucius Fox, who does a phenomenal job running Wayne Enterprises, and it means that I'm able to focus on the things that really matter to me, the causes that I want to fight for, much more than spending my days worrying about the day-to-day stresses of Wayne Enterprises. I'm able to take a bit more of a backseat.
Yeah, and how do you get these people? I mean, was there a process that you went through to hire them, or how do you find such capable people to run your businesses?
A lot of them have been there for a very, very long time. A lot of them have worked for my father and continue to work now.
So you embrace loyalty, you reward them well.
Yes, of course. You need to put your faith in your most loyal people and recognise that these are the guys that have been there right from the beginning. These are the guys that know how. While still, you need to bring in some fresh blood as well. So we, as part of my ongoing efforts to fight corruption and crime, we take a lot of kids off the street, put them in internship programs at Wayne Enterprises, and we're doing a lot for the community in Gotham.
And talk us through, you told us in the first segment about the death of your parents as a crucible moment, a moment that changed your life, right? How did you get to a point? I know you said you took a break where you went away for a while to find yourself, but was there mentors? I mean, you mentioned Alfred as one. How did these guys play a role in helping you to where you are today and helping you to find your purpose?
I mean, obviously for any child to lose their parents at a young age is incredibly difficult. It's not something that I would wish on anybody, but to have that incredible guiding force in Alfred was really, really
what did he do? What did he do that made such a difference?
He's such a calm presence, and in my later years, he taught me how to use a British accent, which is, today invaluable. But in my early days, he really, really inspired me and motivated me and taught me that, the death of my parents, I could view it as this great stumbling block that I would never, ever recover from. He was there to really kind of build me up and to make me the man that I am today. And still today, he, is one of my most trusted people. He is always there for me to wake me up in my incredibly expensive house and to really show me the way. And
I know a lot of academicians talk about having a secure base, and it seems Alfred is your secure base. But also Commissioner Jim Gordon is also a secure base to you.
Well, he was, before he just told everybody who I am.
Yep. But, that's all part of the fanfare, right?
It's part of the fanfare, but it also means that I'm now in a lot of trouble. Wayne Enterprises is in a lot of trouble. And Jim Gordon is going to be responsible for all of it.
I'll make sure our viewers don't tell.
Right, yeah.
People in
Please.
Gotham,
Thank you.
One of the things that I'm sure everybody wonders, why bats? I mean, why Batman? Why not, some other animal? Or and I know your greatest fear is also bats, right?
Yes, that's exactly why. When I was a child, I fell into a well while playing with a young friend of mine, Rachel Dawes, who's no longer with us, sadly, and a great number of bats flew up in my face, and I was scared and I was traumatized by that experience. And I realized that my greatest fear could either be my biggest weakness or it could be my biggest strength. So by harnessing the bat, by making myself the bat, I become the fear that I then instill into others.
Wow.
And I've got to flip that on its head, Roshan. If you were to ever become a superhero, let's say, what do you think you would be? What is your greatest fear that would make you the superhero?
Well, it's not so much my greatest fear. I think the coolest superhero I know is Spider-Man. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Who?
You're in my top 10, but not necessarily the.
Are you serious?
best.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, I mean he's funny, he's cool, he's
He's a
charismatic.
nerd.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I'm somewhat of a nerd too. So anyway, I connect with him. But Batman. I mean, I'm glad you're here. It's amazing to have you here, and hearing your story, I'm resonating a lot more. I mean, I can really empathize with the trauma that you've went through and how you've managed to turn it around and be who you became. Let's talk a little bit about business and innovation, right? I mean, how do you always keep ahead of the curve? How do you constantly innovate?
Again, it goes down to my R&D team. It goes down to Lucius Fox, who's always thinking of new innovations, whether it's developing the incredibly powerful Batmobile, the Batwing, this suit in itself, everything that he designs, that he puts so much time and effort with his team into developing, is all towards the same goal. It's all towards making me the best.
Is it because of one person, or is there a process, or is there some secret sauce that you have?
There is no secret sauce. It is hard work. It is the fact that we're successful in other ventures. We've made a lot of money over the years, I don't mind telling you, and we're then able to channel that into the things that we really care about. And Lucius and his team are magnificent at developing the latest technology, at developing ways that I can fly an atomic bomb out 300 meters over the sea and still turn up in Italy, which is fantastic.
Wow. Bruce, we're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be right back here for our third and final segment of the Leaderonomics Show with Batman.
Yeah, not Spider-Man.
Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Leaderonomics Show, and today the guest in the house is Batman himself.
The best superhero.
You had. I'm sure you've had many challenges and many obstacles along the way. Your parents' death is one, but there were many others, right? Talk us through one of your greatest challenges and how you overcame it.
The greatest challenge I've ever encountered was only a couple of years ago. I was lured into an underground lair of the villain Bane and betrayed by Selina Kyle into fighting Bane one-on-one. And Bane's, I don't know if you've seen him, he's an incredibly large man, a very physical specimen. And he actually broke my back during that fight. And I passed out from the great deal of pain that I was in and awoke in the pit. The pit, which is a prison many meters underground, and I had to claw and fight my way out and climb something that only one person had ever done before to get out of that pit. And to overcome that was very difficult. It was, the middle of nowhere. It was desolate. I had a broken back, and thankfully in this pit in the middle of nowhere, thankfully there was a TV with CNN.
Okay. And
I was able to see the havoc that Bane was wreaking back in Gotham, and that gave me the motivation. That gave me the motivation to know that I could get out of there. And ultimately, after many attempts trying it with a rope, trying to jump from platform to platform with a rope, I took a leap of faith and decided to do it without the rope. And I succeeded. I became only the second person ever to climb out of that hole, and I came back and I managed to save Gotham. That's what I do.
That's a great story.
Thank you.
Every guest that comes on the Leaderonomics Show goes through the Thinkonomics Challenge.
Tell me about Thinkonomics.
Thinkonomics is a game that we play, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a timer.
Okay.
And I'll set it up, and I'm going to pick a bunch of questions, and I'm going to just ask you quick questions. What you need to do is answer them as fast as you can, and we'll see how many questions we can do. Simple.
Sure. Okay.
So we'll start the timer and go. First question, do you remember a time when you were extremely upset 5 years ago? Does it really matter now?
Yes, the time Ra's al Ghul burnt my house down. Okay. That was very, very difficult, and yes, it still matters. I'm still annoyed about that.
Really? You haven't forgiven him?
No.
Wow.
Burnt my house down.
Okay, but shouldn't you forgive and move on?
No.
So second question then, if you were made mayor of your city, what would you do to build the city for the future?
To be honest, I couldn't do a worse job than the current mayor of Gotham. So I feel like I would actually make a very good mayor. Vote for Batman. And I would be sure to rid the city of all its injustice, all its corruption, all its crime, and I'd really, really create a better Gotham around that.
So maybe we'll see you as mayor soon.
Here's hoping, yeah.
Question 3. How do you feel about your partner reading your personal mail?
I don't have a partner. I mean, I say I don't have a partner, there's Robin. He's more of an intern. Forget about him.
And he doesn't read your mail?
No, he's not allowed
Alright,
anywhere
so
near it.
skip that question. Okay, last one, I think we have time for one last one. If you could have one superpower, what would you choose? These are random questions though. If you could have one superpower, what could you choose?
Okay, let me make one thing clear, okay? To be a superhero with a superpower is so easy. Anybody, look at Spider-Man. Look at him, he can shoot webs out of his hands, great, okay, easy, I can swing between buildings as well. To be a superhero without a superpower, that takes real talent.
That's like you.
Yes, that is that is the mark of a true hero.
You don't need superpowers to be a superhero.
Not at all.
And anyone can make a difference, right? Anybody can be great. Anyone can make a difference. Anyone can help solve crime, help elevate poverty, all the stuff that makes the world a better place. Anybody can become that, even if they don't have superpowers, even though they are in situations that may be tough, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Being a superhero is much more about having a vision and being driven by that vision, knowing what you want to accomplish and how you want to get there. You don't need to be able to fire webs out of your hands to know that you can get rid of crime in the city.
Fantastic, Hey, let's talk a bit about, your reflection period. Yeah, tell us why that's important, and also for leaders, right, of businesses, right? Why is it important to reflect and find time in solitude? I mean, you spend a lot of time in solitude.
I did, yeah. Well, a lot of people get so caught up in their day-to-day lives and never really take that time to take a step back and look. Whether it's just taking a quick holiday with the family, whether it's, just taking a week out just to be by yourself, whether it's sitting in your mansion for 8 years after you've taken responsibility for the deaths of many people that you weren't responsible for. Taking that time out can be really important, yeah.
Great. I've got a couple more questions, If you were addressing a group of CEOs, right, and, if you had to impart some pearls of wisdom to them, right, people who run businesses, right, like you, what sort of advice would you impart to these guys?
I'd tell them to make everybody else do the work while you're busy fighting crime.
Well, if they don't fight crime, I mean, is there like a business advice you would impart to them? In terms of
hire the right people.
Hire the right people.
Hire the right people.
Okay, and that's what you've done, right?
Oh, of course, of course. Yes.
Okay, Batman, there are a lot of people out there, young kids, graduating from universities or maybe even high school, they're saying, hey, I want to be like you. I want to have a purpose in life. I want to fulfill my purpose. I want to make this world a better place. What advice would you give them? And what sort of nuggets of wisdom would you impart to them?
It's all about finding what you're passionate about. I happened to have this very traumatic experience that led me to realize that this is what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to end injustice and corruption and crime. They don't need to necessarily go through such a difficult time in their lives. All they need to do is keep trying many things, keep looking into different avenues, keep exploring new things, and eventually they'll find something that they're truly passionate about, and that's where you can make a difference.
I mean, that's very sound advice. And finally, right, I mean, what keeps you going? I mean, why, I'm sure you've overcome the grief of your parents and you've forgiven, you've moved on from that part of your life. But what keeps you motivated to continue to do good in this world, to fight crime? And
well, what's strange is that it seems like whenever I've defeated one villain, when I've defeated the Scarecrow, in comes Ra's al Ghul. When I've defeated Ra's al Ghul, in comes the Joker. When I've defeated the Joker, in comes Bane. There's this never-ending cycle of crime that needs to be stopped, and that's the really difficult thing, is that it feels like it's a job never quite done. And so, until that is done, that's what keeps me going.
Do you think you'll ever retire?
No. As long as crime exists, Batman exists.
Well, Batman, thank you so much for being here on our show. We wish you a pleasant holiday, enjoy the beaches of Malaysia, and, all the best in your continued crime-fighting spree in Gotham City. Thank you very much. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
We've been speaking to Batman here on the Leaderonomics Show.